Hi guys, another day, another confidence video. My name is Stephania and I am here with Mitch. I have a guest for our channel today. I'm so excited. I know if you're new here, this channel is all about empowering you and reminding you how amazing, wonderful, and perfect you already are. So you get to not only create the life of your dreams, but actually enjoy it. And yeah, so I'm posting again and I'm here with Mitch. And I want to do a little brief introduction. We met and we have very similar mindsets. And I'm just so excited to have this conversation recorded and be able to share with you guys so that you get to, absorb the the amazing freedom that we were able to kind of mirror back to one another. So now you get to as well. So, hi, Mitch. How are you today?
Hello. Hey, everybody. Steph, what a pleasure and what an honor to be partnering you here. Guys, I'm so excited to be on this venture with Steph. It's going to be so much fun, so much flow, and I think everyone's going to get so much out of it. Certainly, brainstorming and masterminding with Steph is honestly an honor, and I think that us together will be a one-two punch to really make everyone's dreams come true because we wish everyone in mutual benefit the same. So when you guys win, we win, and when we win, you win. So nothing but flow, fun, and freedom for everyone moving forward. It's going to be so much fun. I can't wait to get started.
Yeah, it really is freedom, like you're saying it, right? I think one of my strongest passions is sharing that freedom that I had at one point fallen under the illusion I didn't have. And then through my own development, I was like, oh my God, life can actually be beautiful, amazing. And as I experience it myself more and more each day, I really, really want to be able to share it with others so they can realize that the world doesn't have to be the scary place, that doesn't have to be what's going on out there with, whatever range of categories that might make you feel tension. You can give yourself freedom from within and you really can have a wonderful life, you guys. It's amazing.
100% Steph. I couldn't say it any better. Honestly, it's just really just really believing in yourself, right? And look at things as the way you like them to be. And then you create that mirror, you create that reality loop, and life takes on a whole other form. And you realize you're truly the cause of everything of your life. And you start to see it, you start to see in the people you work with and act with and be friends with. And it's nothing but fun when you realize that's your power, in terms of you look kind of out of reality glasses. Wherever you are, you're putting on that assumption, you're putting on those glasses, and then you kind of see things in the way that you want them to be. What do you think, Steph?
So we're so powerful. We are so powerful. And it's kind of scary at first to come into this understanding of how powerful we really are, right? Because it will shake your perception of reality at first. And I kind of want to speak on that a little bit because um I know that at least myself, I wasn't always like this, like I came to a moment of like where my awareness was expanded, where it was like, oh, there's like a different side to like how I was taught the world worked, Like there's something else. And I kind of want to start off with that question for you. Like
Yeah.
when or how or like what's the best way you can describe your kind of shift where you realize there's more to this, like I'm living this life and I was
Yeah.
taught by my senses, by my physical senses, that this is what's real. And then how were you able to understand that there was more to it?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think what happens is when you go through life and you start with yourself, right? Because if you know that your true identity is love, but then when you realize that you get into scenarios that you don't like, you get a reaction like what's happening and you don't feel good, you don't feel fulfilled. Then you realize, how can I deserve to feel good. I deserve this is, I only have one life. I want to I'm loved, so I want to feel fulfilled. I want to feel good. So, how do I look at this differently? And, from much learning and many years of practice, come to realize that, I have a conscious of ability. It's not unconscious. I have a conscious ability to be aware of what's happened, ask myself questions, and ask myself, how could I look at this differently? And simply everything you're reacting to is a meaning. So when you realize that, you could say to yourself, how can I look at this better that it serves me, that I can feel fulfilled? Because there's no factual meaning on anything. There's no reality without you. That's what reality means. It means the meaning. So once you get that and you give it a shot and you say, okay, this person cut me off on the road, right? And then you could say, wait a second, I'm not going to take that personally. He's just having a bad day. Boom, you just radically changed your reality instantaneously. The fact that he cut you off means nothing anymore. You don't feel disempowered anymore. So that's a good example of how you can really change your reality because the meaning you assign it is reality. So that guy that cuts you off, it's not guy cut. He's just simply having a bad day. He didn't go out of his way intentionally to hurt you. He simply wasn't really thinking. He's thinking of other things in his life that is affecting him, and then wish good on him, wish love for him. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, and, I've used that, for myself as well. Another one that I use, when people honk at me, I'll wave and I'll be like, "Thank you for trying to save me, like, thanks for helping me," like, putting me
Love
on the
it.
right path.
Love it.
Um, it's funny because when people drive with me, they're like, "Oh, that person's honking at you." I was like, "Oh, they're just trying to keep me safe," send them love. Or another thing that I do a lot is if something bad could have happened and only a slight challenge happens, I'm like, "Oh my god, isn't it amazing that we didn't get into a big crash?" So I
Mm,
cut off
that's
that, like
great point.
so I cut off that initial apprehension of, like, why did I trip or why did I fall? I was like, "Oh, I fell, but I didn't even my skin is intact. I didn't bleed." So, like, it's always like, "Oh my god, I'm so happy it wasn't worse."
Oh
I'm
my
so
god.
lucky.
I have a beautiful again, synchronicity. This is a
Mhm.
synchronicity that just happened because I have to tell you a quick story that is perfect with what you just said, Steph. I had my I had my tires rotated, right? You get your tires rotated every so often. So I had it done at Costco. You figure Costco is a very reputable place, and I'm pretty sure they did the right thing. But for whatever the reason may be, about a week after I had my tires rotated, I had a knocking sound as I was driving. I thought maybe it was like an axle or something, and I contacted my mechanic and said, "Well, I got to get my car in, get this checked." But he wasn't available. So he said, "I'm not available till next week." So I figured, okay, I got to drive my wife's car for a little while. But anyway, I came back in the driveway and a weird thing happened. I noticed that my lug nuts on my front wheel was loose. So a very simple fix, I just tightened them, but at the same time, I'm not sure how it happened, whether it's Costco or something else. But what happened was I could have severely got injured. I mean, that wheel could have fell off while I was on a freeway,
Yeah.
and that could have severely impacted everything. So not only would I not have a car anymore, I wouldn't have who knows what would happen to me. So to your story, Steph, I look back again, the meaning, right? So the way
Yeah.
I see it, instead of me saying like, "Oh man, why did this have to happen? Why would Costco do this? Or why would somebody like who knows vandalism? We
Yeah.
don't even know." Instead of looking at that way, say, "My God, this is priceless that I have my car now. I have my life now. I could have been a completely if I was in could you I don't even imagine it, but if anything happened, what would you say? You'd say like, "I wish this never happened. I wish my car was fine. I wish I was fine. I wish I wasn't in hurt." You'd be doing that instantly. That whole
Yeah.
scenario has been purified that I am in
Yeah.
perfect health. My car is perfect. I feel like I won the lottery, really, because your life is priceless, right?
Yeah,
So,
like
in that moment from lug nuts, my whole life's priceless now.
so
It's
I
like
see it like you
whole different
too
way.
because you like the way I see it, because I understand life now that there's so many infinite possibilities, right?
Yeah.
And in your case, it's like, "Oh my god, you're so lucky you can fix a problem before it even happens." Like,
Yep.
that would be my meaning that I
Yes.
carry from now on. It's like, I am so blessed, and I love the concept of angels. Not from, like, a
Mhm.
actual, like, a religious background or anything, but I love the concept of, like, I always have angels looking out for me, and it's really, like, my own
Mm.
mindset and my awareness that brings my attention on things I can, take care of myself, right? So, that's what I think it's so cool. Yeah, like, you took care of it. You're a problem solver. You didn't even have to get to the problem, like,
Absolutely,
it's
and
amazing.
I believe in what you're saying about angels. You know, I've had so many weird things happen in cars that
Yeah.
I really believe, and once you
Oh,
create that belief, then it creates a reality loop. So now you know I'm safe, I'm protected, and then some way, somehow, and that's all you have to actually say is some way, somehow. I learned that from a great mentor of mine. You know, saying some way, somehow allows that flow to be infinite ways of how you're protected. You don't have to say, well, I'm protected because I have a great car. I have a
right,
good
right.
airbags. I have a new
Yes.
model. I have, you know, safety restraints or the latest safety. You don't have to do all that. You
You're just
simply say,
protected, period. You're
exactly,
protected,
some
period.
way,
Yes.
somehow I am protected. And that's just a blanket statement. And it's just a great way of doing it. Yeah. I mean, like, I mean, I was really on the verge of who knows what. I mean, when I
And you don't
realized
even
it,
have to imagine that, because I know that some people I have conversations, they're like, "Can you imagine how bad it could have been?" I was like, "Nope, I do
no,
not imagine."
no, no.
So, if you guys are new to listening to me, in this channel, I speak a lot about imagination because I'm an avid learned student of Neville Goddard, and also a course in miracles. So that's where my faith has been strengthened, where your inner reality, your imagination, what you give life to, you're animating your physical life. And the more you practice, the more you do it, you're gonna really understand that it's true. It's not just like, oh, like I'm
Mm.
manifesting a butterfly because I saw it and I'm asking for it. No, this really is effective in like every single area of your life. And that's why I'm so excited to share it with you guys, because I've developed my life in such a beautiful way with like beautiful connections, and I want that for everyone. Like I want you guys to have like a beautiful life, because like what else is there to do?
Yeah, I have to say I'm so thrilled to be on this channel with Steph. I mean, it just makes my life so delightful and really it's really that ease, you know, getting into that consciousness of ease. Because once you get into the consciousness of ease, which Steph relates to and I relate to, you start to have a thinking pattern. You have a thinking pattern. So the more you feel ease, and the reason why is this, again, goes back to your identity as love. Because if, you know, your identity as love identifies with ease, because that's you. That's what love is. It's ease. It's, you know, it's love,
It
happiness,
blossoms.
peace.
It blossoms organically. It's like a tree,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely, and that's why it's so wonderful to have, you know, loving type of meaning, thinkings, feelings, because then you start to become that identity. Because that's the true you, that's what love is, so, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, ease is the way, and, I love it.
I wanted to ask you about the reality loop. You mentioned
Mm,
it while we were speaking, and I know what it is because we've spoken before, but I would love for you to share with our viewers
mm.
how you see the reality loop, because I think it's really cool. I think it's gonna really make it a logical mind more acceptant of
Oh,
like what's going
thank you
on.
thank you for allowing me to share it. You know, it's really I think the way I like to explain things, I've done this such a long time that I'm able to explain these things in an easy way, I think. So, typically a reality loop is it starts with your assumption about you or your world. And what an assumption really is a meaning, because there's infinite assumptions, infinite meanings, which is infinite states of being, right? That's all, it's really all the same meaning, assumptions, states of being. So you start with, okay, what do you prefer about yourself? What do you prefer about others? And what do you prefer about, you know, the world in general? So let's say, for instance, you know, I'm going on a trip and I say this trip's going to be easy and fun, right? So now everything you know, I'm enjoying that feeling and I believe it's going to be easy and fun. I'm going to experience things that are typically synchronistic to be easy and fun in some way, somehow, whether it's getting to the airport, my flight being on time, the people I'm with, It's this assumption and entertaining, really, you're entertaining any type of time you're giving an assumption, you're entertaining what that feels like. And then it develops into like a self concept eventually, and then you tend to have those type of experiences. Now, somebody that's not familiar with this and assumes, let's say, oh, every time I go to the airport, something always happens. I don't know why. Okay, well, sure enough, when you get there, you're gonna find something you're gonna react to. That's gonna be something. It can even be so minuscule. It could be like I don't know, it could be something so innocent, of somebody saying something to you that you don't like, and you say, "Well, sure enough, there it is." And the moment you do that, you're reacting. So you create the assumption, you react to it, and then it happens again. So it reinforces it. So then you see it again, could be like you're going online through security, somebody said, whatever, somebody rubs you the wrong way, and then you say, "There it is again." Sure enough, when I go to the airport, this is what happens. Now you're reacting again, so you're reinforcing it happen
Yeah.
again. So then you say, "There it is." So reality is simply you give the meaning, you react to it, either consciously or unconsciously, and then it happens again, and now it's called a loop. So when you're realizing that reality is a loop and it's just a mirror because it's just, people giving the meaning that whatever you prefer or don't prefer is happening, you can break it and realize, wait a second, I'm going to give the meaning I prefer. Every time I go to the airport, every time I go on a trip, it's always easy and effortless. And,
Yeah.
and test it. And the only way you can know is test it. And then
You
you'll see
s
it.
you superimpose it, like, you overlay it over, what your past evidence was, and that's the biggest missing link that I noticed, and I've experienced this too, guys, so it's not like I'm coming from a place, like, of, like, knowing it all, but I really was stuck at some point, like, there was a human identity, right? Um, and it's like, "Oh, these things always happen to me." I'm always okay, let's say awkward, procrastinator, clumsy, not smart enough, like socially challenged. I don't know, whatever you want to say,
Oh,
messy, whatever, right? So then you're like, I'm always this way. Why would my life change if I've never seen myself be different or the world be different? And something that I really like lately, I've been playing with the idea of you don't even have to believe in yourself because that could be harder if you've never had evidence of doing something good, good and preferable, whatever it is that you want. Like if you've never experienced success, it could be hard for you to say like, "Oh my God, I'm so successful." But if you really understand that, if you can believe in your imagination to be true reality, you don't have to believe in yourself. Believe in your imagination.
yeah.
Believe that what you're seeing within has the capacity to be, reflected into your world. And I think that's really the cool thing, and I think when started with this, I would start imagining things for other people because it was harder
Mhm.
for me to lose the identification of my body and my mind, right? Because I'm like, "Well, I've always been this little girl doing all these awkward things." I still kind of am sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't wanna lose that identity. I like being sometimes,
Mhm.
awkward, but, um but it was easy for me to be like, "Okay, well, here's some information." Like, if they're telling me that I can imagine something, at first it was for fun, and you don't even have to pay anyone. Nobody's asking you for money, guys. Like, you can just do this on your own. Like, you know what? These people online are telling me that maybe there's a way out, right? So then, if I close my eyes and I imagine an apple, maybe an apple will appear. Like play with it, like have fun with it.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
I want to say one of the main times I got into this through meditation. I was looking for peace. I had like a challenging illusion of a background, right? Which I was able to overcome, but I was looking for peace. So then after going the more traditional path of fitness and, like yoga and all these things, I finally got to meditation. And it was really challenging to find that to calm down the body, right? Because it's like I'm supposed to be doing something. This is how is this gonna work? Blah blah blah. Blah. But once I really honed in, it felt beautiful because I can actually do it. But one of the meditations I did, like experiment, guys. There's so many different meditations. Like my boyfriend does like monk gorgor. I don't know what it's called. Like the monk sounds like ah. They make like a sound and that relaxes him, like Gregorian's monk singing or something. It's so
Mm.
cool. But find something that will really help you and get you like to basically get out of your mind. for me, one of them was imagine your future self, right? And sometimes that's hard because if you identify as a loser, right? You're like, I'm
Mhm.
such a dork. Not I'm not saying any of you guys are. Nobody's a loser, but the human conditioning could be like, oh my God, I'm such a loser. I imagine visualize myself doing nothing, you know? But in this particular case, I imagine my future self giving me like a lion ball. Like it was like a lion, and I was like, I don't know. They're like, oh, they're gonna give you a lion. And then, like, I don't know, like a month later, I have a friend, and it was my birthday. They gave me a glass lion, right? And then I was like, I literally imagined this, you know? And it was given to me, and it literally popped out of my mind. And that's when I was like, okay, like, not to say that she's my future self, right? But the conditions don't really matter. It was just I imagined something and it appeared in my life. So then you could play with it just as easy, guys, and that's kind of what I want to share.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think a lot of what you're saying, Steph, is when we imagine stuff, we do what is fulfilling and feels good, right? So we think that we're so used to being comfortable being uncomfortable. We think we have to, it's delusional to be comfortable, that's the delusion, right? The delusion is that we give a meaning to what we don't prefer, and we think that that's reality, but it's not. When you're deliberately doing it, that's a delusional thinking, because you
Yeah.
have a choice. You have a choice. So that means it has to be deliberate. It's deliberate. If you have a choice, it's deliberate. And meaning, there is infinite meanings to everything. So that means that it's almost like you're at a buffet and you get to select what you like. And realizing that you have that power to give meaning and feel what you prefer, and feeling good and being fulfilled, that's really you. So I think what it really is being liberated to know that because your true identity is love, it liberates you to be comfortable being comfortable instead of being
Yeah.
comfortable being uncomfortable. And
Yeah.
it just liberates you, because then you realize, like, wait a second, is this really true? Is that really true? Is this something? Is this like? Does this make sense? No, I enjoy feeling fulfilled. I enjoy seeing the good in people. I don't. I know things are going to work out for them. I know they're going to work out for me, because that feels good. That's fulfilling. And then
Yeah.
that's the true meaning. So to go through that, wherever you are, realizes that you're really empowered. It's really sheer power, because now you can enjoy feeling fulfilled. You deserve to feel fulfilled. It's you, you only have one life, so it's your gift and birthright to feel good, because you're love. So if you're love, then you thrive on love, and love thrives on love.
Yeah.
So, and regarding your the meditations, what I would say is, if you have a lot of overthinking and you have a lot of mind chatter, I'd recommend to try meditation to see what that feels like, because you're really releasing a lot of that mind chatter, that overthinking, because meditation is typically no thoughts, or you're following the steadiness of meditative music, or breathing, or even a fan noise, something steady, to retrain and teach yourself that love and fulfillment is who you are. And
Yeah.
with that steadiness, it brings you back to really peace, relaxation, and fulfillment. So I highly recommend it. So this way you can remember who you truly are. Because in this reality, if you don't do that once in a while, you tend to forget, and you tend to think, like, you don't have control. Then you affirm it involuntarily. I don't have control. And then you believe it because you experience it. And that's the reality loop. So a great way, I think what you had to say segues into my thoughts on that. So that was really great.
Yeah. It's meditation is like water to your psyche, right? Because you're
Mm,
resetting, we live in this physical world that's so captivating. It like
mhm.
surrounds us, right? And it's always calling your attention
Right.
because it's entertaining and it's fun, right? Like it's
Mhm,
very tantalizing to the
mhm.
senses, and it's supposed
Yes.
to be. But when you forget that you are the center of the power in your life, your reality, you're gonna forget your control over it, right? It's like you're driving a car and you're like, oh my God, the car's going everywhere. I don't know why it's happening, but you forgot to take the wheel, right?
Yes.
So for me, meditation like reminds you, because sometimes even if you're very deep in your practice, you will get pulled into these wonderful experiences, but you might forget that you really have the power to give it direction. And meditation will do that for me. It's like resetting. You become the programmer again. You know, you take your programming hat.
Yes.
You're like, how am I going to develop this game to have more ease?
Mm.
And what I love about you saying that, we are love, and that was hard for me to understand when I was younger because I was like, well, how come I'm struggling or I don't feel all this love? And the reason why you don't feel it is because you're looking for it, right? Like
Mm.
we're so
Mm.
programmed to think this is how it's supposed to be. And this is so important for me to tell people because a lot of people carry this like, I'm unloved because I didn't get it from my parents. I didn't get it from a
Mm.
boyfriend or girlfriend. I didn't get it from my country or my community, right? And I am
Mhm.
rejected because these people or these things or these circumstances rejected me. But that couldn't be further from the truth because you're pure love, you're pure bliss, you're pure, you know, I wish I had Joseph Rodriguez's like,
Fulfillment, happiness.
yeah, he has all these beautiful words. And and when you realize, I think sometimes it comes either first through curiosity or other times through suffering, right? That it's not this outside world that can provide the true essence of love and safety and security. And when I say it comes from yourself, I don't even mean your physical self. Because I used to think that I think a lot of us get confused, like, oh, myself, it's my mind and my body. No, no, that's not even it. That's another layer to it. It comes from your awareness, right? Your awareness is where you're directing your attention, which is your creative power. Like your attention really is the laser that is you know, creating the reality loop, like Mitch says, to like continue those experiences in your life. And once you can forgive, that's why I freaking love Jesus's, teaching because when he talks about forgiveness, forgive and forget, guys, it really is forgive and forget. Like it's not like, oh, let's just kumbaya. No, like really, you want to change your life, you want to change your reality, you forgive and you forget because as you forgive and forget them, I mean, not them, but the circumstances, they will change. You will change. Your past will change. Your future changes. Your whole reality enhances. And yeah, that's my dissertation.
100%, 100%. That's so many great points you brought up. You know, forgiveness is really forgiving yourself. I mean, yes, there are others, but it's only you that's
Yeah.
experiencing it. So whatever you're experiencing others, you're experiencing. It's a memory that you're experiencing. So if something disempowered you from the past, it's a very interesting topic because people, as you guys may know, typically we don't really think about our past so much unless it's something that hurt us in some way. We don't really think about every single beautiful experience. We typically remember or somehow go back to things that bothered us in some way, something that was not reconciled in some way. And the reason why this is the case is because your identity is love, right? So if your identity
Yeah.
is love, there's something that we didn't make peace with. There's something that this again, it goes to the meaning. Everything is the meaning. It's assumption, state of being, the meaning. Everything is the meaning. So whatever meaning you had, you didn't make peace with. So whatever the case could be, it could be something with family, it could be something with career, but looking at the meaning you prefer in what happened, it almost instantaneously, just like the example I gave earlier about being cut off, aggressive driver, right? You may be thinking about that later in the day, like, "I really didn't have a great day, somebody cut me off." But then realize, "Wait a second, maybe he had a fight with his girlfriend, or maybe he had a fight with his family, or maybe career, who knows? But he didn't intentionally do it. It wasn't out for me. So maybe he just had a bad day." Listen, we all have bad days, right? We could relate to that. So now we just purified that meaning. Now, almost instantaneously, you're not gonna think about that driver or whatever happened because you gave it the meaning you prefer. The meaning you prefer is love. So you're really throwing love at it, essentially. So, and you're healing because until that happens, that's gonna replay again as theater. You could be on the road tomorrow. Everyone's an aggressive driver. Okay, no matter what happens, I can't get away from it. Now you create a reality loop. But when you revise, which is really just changing the meaning and giving the meaning prefer, now you get the opportunity to create the new reality loop and also make peace within you. So you
Yeah.
feel good. Again, you all you're here is to feel good, feel fulfilled. And that's when things change. And you can do this with the past. You can do this with, other things that are, and you're making good on it, and then now you have a future of a reality loop that you're unstoppable with because you're a creator. You put it out there. So I think that
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense with what you're saying, Steph.
Yeah, I think, I love when I read about Neville Goddard's revisioning, I just fell in love
Mhm,
with it because he reflected so much of what I was doing already in a more, I guess, limited space of, because I remember when I was learning how to public speak, right? I mean, that was like that's scary for everybody because, you want to be accepted and you feel like,
mhm,
you might make mistakes. And this is all an illusion, by the way, guys. And then you really can't, even if you make mistakes, you can understand the assumption that you're supported no matter what. Even if you don't know what you're doing, you're supported no matter what. You have a supportive community, which is kind of what happened to me. Like you stumble over your words, people laugh and they're like, come on, keep going. Like we love what you're saying. This is relatable. But when I was learning how to teach, again, I came from fitness, wellness, and all that stuff. I If I made a mistake physically in my class, I would go home and re-envision it how I would prefer it to be because I understood that the brain needed direction of a new path. So if I carried like, "Oh my god, I'm so dumb, I made that mistake," uh, it was gonna be a hiccup forever. Whereas if I taught my brain the proper way of doing it, maybe that specific class didn't go as best, but I knew the next one would because I rehearsed it. That's what rehearsing is. You're replaying it, you're rehearsing it, and I think when I was younger too, there was so many communication barriers socially, right, between friendships. Let's say you feel disempowered. The illusion of disempowerment, guys, you're never really disempowered. It's an illusion, distorted illusion at that. But somebody tells you something and you're like, oh, I had something good to say and I didn't say it, that whole like illusion ping
mhm,
pong, whatever. And then if you really wanted to learn how to get out of those unstuck um verbal patterns because you want to learn how to speak better, you rehearse it, you replay it in your mind, and then the next time it happens, like you have a better way of carrying yourself. And that's where I was like practicing how to be more graceful, right? I was like I want to be more graceful. I feel like this awkward like silly girl, I want some respect to my name. um it's just all also silly, guys. Like you could just be yourself, people are gonna love and respect you no matter what. But yeah, so re-envisioning really was part of Neville's revision. And guys, like you can change everything like about your past, like not only can you give it new meaning, because that's also very helpful, like, if you give a new meaning, "Oh, this happened because, my parents didn't know better, that's where they were at, let me have compassion for their lack of understanding," right? But then also you can just make up a whole new past. You really, really can, like, oh, like, I think a lot of people carry that blanket of, "I grew up in poverty, and how am I
mhm,
supposed to make money?" Or, "My family's not very smart, like, how am I supposed to be smart? I don't have those connections." Guys, none of that even matters. Like, just make one up, and I say
mhm.
this truthfully because I've experienced it where it's like I recreated an entire childhood of feeling safe, of feeling loved, of feeling supported. And then the players, the characters, which are reflections of me, I gave them freedom through my new
Mhm.
understanding. Wait, they weren't mean, they weren't poor and all these negative, unpreferred labels, right? I see them differently. They start showing up different, guys. Like, this is the
Mhm.
truth. It's not gimmicky, it's not made up. You see things how you want them to be. And through your love, because love is the energy of like that emotion that you feel, that's your creative energy. You feel it from your heart, right? It's like, it's like freedom. Anyway, I think I'm babbling, but um yeah, you really can re-envision things and revision and like, oh, I don't know if you have something to say, Mitch, because I can keep running with the
Oh my gosh,
examples of this.
there's so much to expand upon here. I mean, revision is honestly, it's just a change of attitude, change of meaning, and you're doing this all the time in every moment. You're giving meaning to something new in every moment. So essentially you're revising what and you're giving the meaning you prefer. So on the spot, you're revising. On the spot, you're saying, wait a second, is that really true? No, no, that's true. And as you do this more and more, and you could be people call you up on the phone and they tell you, "Oh, would you, hear the news? Did you hear what happened?" Whatever it happens, again, you're revising. It's changing the meaning. It's simply changing the meaning. There is no bad news. There's only good news. Whatever happens,
Yeah,
it's temporary. We have a lifetime of things reality is always changing. So what we think
yeah.
in the moment is permanent, it's not. And to your other point about public speaking, I mean, that's a great topic. What we're doing right now is is almost public
Yeah.
speaking. When we have a meeting at the where companies we work at or working with clients or whatever, wherever it is, that's public speaking. When you have a meeting and you have a group meeting, that's public speaking. So I think during COVID, I really learned this a lot with public speaking. It really came almost like, it happened dynamically with COVID. You had to learn to be a public speaker because the reason is because Zoom calls and
It's
Google
always a
Meet.
presentation, like
Yeah, you couldn't go in the office, so you had to do public speaking, on the computer, whether you liked it or not, everyone would be there and, what do you have to say and, what's your view on it? So public speaking was a thing. So what I really learned is that you can really preview the way any public speaking is
mhm.
going to go, the way any
Yeah.
meeting is going to go. Because a lot of times with public speaking, you never met the people, right? Even with some calls with clients or companies, you haven't met them yet. So it's really your imagination is limitless. It typically is anything goes. So whatever you entertain or whatever you assume or whatever, you preview in your mind is really what's going to happen because you're going to act, react, and be that way in the right place at the right time. So for instance, let's say you have a meeting, and you never met the people and there's a black screen, nothing came on yet. And it's really a blank canvas. Because instead of saying, "I don't know how this meeting's gonna go, I hope it goes well," that's eliminated. You really say, "Well, I already see everybody is ecstatic with the way this meeting went." But again, the reason why is because you thrive on it. Love is your true identity. That's why Neville and all the teachers would agree to congratulations, celebrations, because that's who you are. So let's have the meeting success. The last page of the book is always, the rainbows and wishes come true. So that's what we're always, even a movie,
I
everything.
love that.
So this meeting went great. Hey, Mitch, this is fantastic.
Yeah,
And,
give
and
it
listen,
direction.
and
Y
listen how that sounds. Mitch, this is fantastic. Even if you hear those words, you can't stop. It's effortless believing. You love it. It's like, give me more. It's like,
yeah,
give me 1,000 more. Give me, I want more of that. And you create it instantly. So before the meeting even starts, before the public speaking even starts, you hear applause. You hear, everybody loved it. And that voice of love, it's just automatic. You can't stop it. So it's
yeah.
really to your advantage. It's your superpower. It's sheer power.
Yeah, and really having those, what I say, like, umbrella beliefs, which is just like, I'm a really fast learner, everything's easy for me, everybody always loves me, and there are no mistakes, it's just a learning opportunity. Even if I make mistakes, people love me, like, people understand me, and really, like, over and over, reinforcing that through a lot of putting new experiences in your life, right?
Mhm.
Um and I think even giving meaning to your emotions, people are so caught up in like, I'm doing something new, right? The body tenses up anytime there's something new because the body's really primitive. It's like an animal, right? It's like, oh no, new environment. It's still kind of like a baby. It doesn't know. It's
Yeah,
like, I don't like this. But it's like, what if you instead redefine that, give it a new meaning, and say, every time my body contracts, it means that this is gonna be amazing. Every time I
exactly.
feel like something you can it doesn't have to be, "Oh, I'm anxious and I don't like this." It could be like, "Oh, I'm so excited. I'm about to grow." You know? Um, and that's what I love about being able to redefine your feelings because nothing really has any meaning, like you said, um, also in regards to I thought I wrote a note, sorry. I just got sidetracked, but yeah, in regards to giving meaning to your emotions and even speaking, I think a lot of people are forgetting to give direction to their preferences. And
Mm,
you can give any direction you want. And whether it's in the future or it's the past, right? If the past keeps following you, that's when revision comes in.
mm,
That's what I wanted to say. So, like, you revision something that it's like sticky energy, right? It's like the shadows of the past are haunting you. That's literally a ghost, right? Like, a ghost is haunting you. So you keep seeing evidence of what you don't prefer because you have a story that's so ingrained in your psyche. I feel like it's so laser edged, through like a traumatic experience that you can't let it go. So you keep having evidence. That's where revision comes in. And you're like, I'm just going to make something else because
Mhm.
I don't want this to follow me around. And I have an amazing example of this. I was dating somebody who had a lot of, I don't really know the actual medical term. He had a lot of stomach issues where he had been to doctors everywhere. They really didn't know specifically what he had, but apparently he's had it since he was a baby. That was the story he had, right? I've had it as a baby. It runs in my family. Doctors were telling him that it's just something he had to deal, to the point that in 6 or 7 months, we had gone to the ER 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Right? So it was and he just didn't sleep at all at night, right? Like he went to sleep at 2 a.m. He woke up until 6 a.m. in the bathroom, anxious and a lot of body pain. I already knew, had come into this information that we can give our mind direction, but it was kind of challenging living so close to somebody trying to teach this, right? Like, I'm like, hey, it's kind of all in your head. He's like, what are you talking about? Like, I was born with this. Like, that's so insensitive. Like, my mother
Mm,
has this.
mm.
And then there was like it had a really, it was like Venom, like from Spider-Man. Like, it had a chokehold on him. So then, I was like, well, I can imagine. I believe we can all imagine lovingly on behalf of another. Um, but I think based on the fact that it was so close to me at that time, my own imagination was not fulfilling it enough. So what ended up happening was that this one time I was like really stern with him and I was like, look, because we would eat and every time we would eat, he said, oh my God, I'm feeling it. I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom and something's happening, right? And I was like, no, you feel something in your stomach and you confront it.
Mm,
You don't let it control you because the second you feel like a little tug, you're like, oh my God, your anxiety is opening up this
mhm,
world of like,
mhm,
this is what it means. And now you're opening up your past
mhm,
again. And it's like, no. And I was like, no, every single time you feel anything, you're going to sit there and it's like, we're okay. And I love saying, like, I'm loved, I'm safe, I'm supported. And that's like the basis of like, I think, giving your physical being stability because
mm,
nothing can hurt you if you're loved, safe, and supported.
mm.
Your body can be shaking, you can have a high fever, but you're like, "I'm loved, I'm safe, I'm supported. Of course I'm gonna get out of this." Pain is technically an illusion, right? It's gonna go away anyway. So yeah, so he cured himself. He really did. He started confronting the crazy pains that he used to have because he didn't let it grow. He was like, "No, like this is it." And yeah, it was pretty miraculous really. And then, like I share that because that's the possibility for all of you guys.
Yeah, that's amazing. We really, there's a book by Dr. Bruce Lipton, Biology of Belief, and
I
it
love
true,
him.
yeah, as he's great. Friends with Dr. Joe Dispenza, and he really teaches your thoughts create your biology, it creates your
Uh-huh.
reality because you always believe how you feel. You always believe how you feel. So if you're feeling healthy, you're feeling good. If you don't feel it, then it's typically from some thinking pattern, and if it's a pattern, then it's something to do with the cause being your thoughts. So Dr. Bruce Lipton teaches that your thinking creates hormone execution, dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, the love chemical, and also cortisol.
Yeah.
So with cortisol, it basically becomes a learned behavior. Cortisol is a stress hormone. So we have stresses in our life. We always believe how we feel. And then we think, oh, this is me, or I deal with this regularly. I deal with this all the time. The reason why is because you're feeling it all the time. You're feeling that cortisol. It's really mixed in your bloodstream and it becomes a chemical addiction in a way because
Yeah.
you're familiar with it. Any addiction is a familiar. And that's why I was saying earlier about being comfortable, being uncomfortable, is because the more that you're feeling or you're giving the meaning you don't prefer, you're having stressful thoughts. It's not you. It's not what love is. So it's going to create that cortisol execution because you're really deliberately delusional, right? I mean, because it's not who you are. You're not fulfilled. You're not feeling good. When you give a meaning you don't prefer, it's executing cortisol, believe it or not, because you're deliberately choosing a meaning you don't prefer. It's not you. And if it's not you,
Yeah.
then your mind thinks you're being almost chased by a tiger. It's like saying, "I
Right.
don't want this." It's like, "I don't want this. I don't want the tiger. I have to move." You're really moving away. It's like a hot stove, right? You're moving away from the hot stove. I don't want that. You keep resisting it. You keep resisting because that's what's really happening when you're having those type of, feelings of pain or thoughts you don't prefer. It's really a hot stove, and that hot stove creating cortisol because you're putting your hand on it. I don't want it. I'm deliberately thinking it, but it's delusional. But I'm addicted to this the way I think. So it creates. So it's that sabotage. It's like this is
It
not
is.
who I am.
It's
Exactly, and then you get that cortisol, and then now you become addicted. You don't realize you're addicted, and it's being comfortable being uncomfortable. So until you purify that, you heal, you say, "I'm always healthy," entertain what it feels like to be healthy, always looking for the best in what you want. It really changes a lot because, that's who you are. And then things change, and then you purify that cortisol out, you get the oxytocin more in, you feel empowered, you have free will.
yeah.
It's really a playground. It's crazy.
It's really coming back to, like, knowing that you're safe because, like, feeling unsafe is part of the illusion. Like, nothing
Mhm.
can hurt you, and I keep saying this, and I think it takes a little bit of and let me not even create that assumption. No, you get it. If you hear this, if you're listening to this, you truly understand that it really is an illusion and the illusion is connected to you. So why would you hurt yourself, right?
No.
I really equated to a baby that doesn't know it has limbs and it's pulling its hair and crying and like poking its eyes out. And you're like, oh my God, the baby doesn't know how to use its limbs. So there's, like, really no one to blame, right? Like, you don't wanna blame the baby for being, quote, unquote, "dumb," or, "I can't believe it did that." No, it's learning how
Yeah.
to use its limbs. So, I think where we are moving into, all of us, is learning how to use our awareness, learning how to drive our awareness, and the way I understand awareness to be is, like, consciousness is everything that is, the infinite all, right? Coming from love. And then the awareness is kinda like the attention, the laser, the where you're putting your focus on is what expands. That's what grows. It's like water my awareness is the water to the garden, and the garden will, like, grow from there, and a lot of us didn't weren't taught maybe that our awareness is
Mhm.
what's creating our actual physical reality, and I'm really strict with what I consume, and I used to be,
Mhm.
like, a little bit more loose, like, "Oh, I can do affirmations, and, like, that's gonna be enough," but why would I let unpreferable things into my psyche? I know I'm at a point where I've mastered this so much. I identify as a master manifester, and you guys can too, right? It's not everything I'm sharing is not for me. If you see it in your reality, take it as your own. I'm a master manifester too, like I understand what she's saying because I have this freedom. If you can see somebody have freedom in your life, it means you have freedom in your life, right? It's
Mm.
not like, oh, this is only attainable to them because no, everything that's in your reality is attainable to you. You see somebody with a Mercedes Benz, oh, I can have one too. That's how I did it. Anyway, so um, if I identify strongly as a master manifestor because I see it, whatever I put my attention on multiplies around me in the lives of the people I love and in my own life. So I'm very strict and discerning with what I consume. And I think that was kind of like a later step in life that I realized that that was really important. And, if you guys are struggling with like, you're like, why is this still happening? Like, why do I have these unpreferred experiences with people in my life? Start cleansing your consumption. I suggested, because that really, really, really got me to that other side was that extra push.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, and one of the big takeaways that you said is freedom, right? So freedom is I look at freedom as free will. You have the free will to give any meaning in this world. That's free will. There's no factual meaning to anything. So you have free will to give the meaning you prefer. That's free will. That's total free will. Because when you change the meaning, your reality changes. The way you look at it changes. Like that guy that cuts you off on the road. He was having a bad day. He didn't do it intentionally. That's free will. Your reality is now different because you feel different. You immediately believe it because love is your identity. And the other part of this is that you because you're loved, you care about yourself. You love you care. You genuinely care about yourself. You care about the way you feel. right? So if you love and care about yourself, what's going to happen? You're going to be your own best friend, right? You're going to be your own best friend. You're going to champion yourself because that's what love does. If you're love, you're going to be thinking, how does love act and react? And it's not going to be like you have to figure it out. It's going to be like genuine, like, I want a friend. Okay, I want a friend that's going to tell me it's okay, right? You don't have to wait for somebody to call up on the phone and say, hey, listen, what happened to me? It's going to be okay. You're your own best friend. You champion yourself. You're all there
Yeah.
is. You're the only experiencer of anything. So if you're the only experience of anything, that means the sky's the limit. Hey, this is you wake up, this is gonna be the best day ever. That's what love does. You feel great instantly. You
I
feel
love that.
fulfilled instantly. You're doing it because you're loved. You're not doing it 'cause to get something. You're doing it because that's who you are. That's why we thrive on it.
Yeah.
That's why we don't, you think you have to wait to feel good. You don't have to wait to feel gratitude, and then when you get it, then you'll feel gratitude. The gratitude is your free will. That's the gratitude because you have unlimited ability to be free, like Steph says. You have freedom. You have freedom because you're freedom of thought, freedom of thinking, freedom of getting the meaning you prefer. You're thinking from love because that's who you truly are. Being your own best friend, champion yourself. Hey, I love to say affirmations like, I'm loved, I'm cherished, I'm chosen, I'm adored, I'm spectacular, I'm sensational.
Mhm.
Just think about these words. I mean, when you really go down to it, they're all symbols, right? These are all symbolism.
Yeah.
And think about it. I'm spectacular. You can't stop the way you think when you say that. I don't care if you're having a bad day or whatever. If you really totally embrace that feeling, I am spectacular, it causes an
Yeah.
automatic reaction you cannot stop. And the reason why, when you really do a self-inquiry with yourself and say, like, why do I feel great when I say that? Why? Because wait a second, if I'm love, if my identity is love, this is making sense. It's making sense. To give the meaning you prefer has to be the only real meaning. Because if love is all that's real and you come from your identity, then you know that I'm spectacular, I'm sensational, everything. You're the source of meaning. You're the authority of all meaning. It has to be true because you're the only one buying into what your beliefs are. These are just beliefs. Again, it's all synonyms: meaning,
Yeah.
belief, assumption, state of being. It's all point of view. It's all the same. So it really is really like a playground. When you really get down to it, you're watching a play being your life, and you're the author, you're the director, you're the producer,
Mhm.
because you get to take out that script and make it as you want, because it
Yeah.
feels good and you deserve it. It's your gift and birthright.
Yeah. I agree with you. And I was actually researching why. I was like, why are words so powerful? Because
Mm,
we know the affirmation is not really what's like causing the transformation. But what I came to the conclusion was that we are so wired to follow words, right? Like
mm,
since children, so our awareness is directed by the words. Words at this point are so closely connected to our psyche and our awareness that words are
yeah.
powerful. So the way that you speak about yourself, the way you speak about others, it really is giving life to your life, not because the words are the ones creating reality, because you really can't, like when I say I speak things into existence, is my awareness, my words direct my awareness, and I'm saying this is what I want and that's what's going to be reflected, right? So it's not that the word itself has the power, but my awareness of it does. So
Mm,
I want you guys to really take that into consideration because again, like I've been doing this, trying to share this information because I was trying, it wasn't working as well, I guess, but I've been sharing this information for a long time. And, there was some pushback on like, oh, well, like I don't how I want to say negative things or unpreferred things like self-deprecating things. Like I don't believe those things are gonna happen. I was like, yeah, but you're limiting yourself. Like you're gonna create a little vacuum of like it's gonna float around you, like if you think cops are always bad, you're
mm,
creating that reality loop of like you start talking negatively about cops, that's where your awareness is going. Cops suck. Nothing sucks. It's the meaning you give it, right? You're creating that reflection that they're gonna suck for you because that's what you're believing. And it's giving things meaning, but I wanted to help you, not help you, but like upgrade something for you. There was when you're saying that if you get hit, if you get swerved on the car and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to be compassionate because they're probably having a bad day. What if instead we're like, he got really good news. He's not paying
mm.
attention on the road,
Love it.
right? So
Love it.
instead of going down with it like, "Oh, I'm gonna feel bad for him," be like, I'm gonna be like, "Wow, he must be so excited. He probably
Mm,
just got
love it.
news that his wife is pregnant. He probably got news that he won the lottery, you know, and
Love it.
he's
Love it.
distracted." So it you immediately place somebody in a good spot. They were just
Mm.
distracted.
100%. Oh my god, it's music to my ears. I mean, this is like a violin, honestly, truly. A lot of what we're doing, Steph, is affirmations and auto-suggestions all
Yeah,
day long. All day long, we're creating affirmations, auto-suggestions all day long because we're talking to ourselves all day long, inner conversation all day long. These are affirmations, these are auto-suggestions. So what happens is when you change your state of being, because when you take it from love, it's almost effortless because you don't have to say and kind of plan it out and say, I'm going to change my state of being. It comes effortless because your true identity is love. So when you talk this way, when you act this way, it becomes natural because you feel fulfilled and good. You realize, the cops are here to help me. It's really changing that attitude that there's infinite meanings about cops, there's infinite meanings about work, there's infinite meanings about your family, your friends. There's no one meaning, and it's only
yeah.
so you're all self-defined. So you're creating affirmations and auto suggestions all day long because you're a creator, you're a dreamer. It's your identity. If love is your identity, right? You're going to be talking to yourself all because you have free will. Free will is what love is. The fact that you have
Yeah.
free will is because you're love. You wouldn't have free will unless your true identity is love. I mean, even animals, do they have free will? It's almost they're on autopilot, right? I don't think they can
Sometimes
really
I
think.
wonder if they do have the consciousness of manifesting what they want. We just don't understand it,
Right, it
you
probably has
know?
a different level. It probably has a different level, but they don't have the ability to change the meaning or give the meaning because I could tell my dog, we go outside, it thinks there's gonna be a dog outside and it's gonna bark at it even before we get
Oh,
outside.
yeah.
I love to tell my dog, "There's nothing out there. Nothing's gonna happen. Everything is great today. No, no, no. There's gonna be trouble. I'm gonna bark." When
And that's where
no
I
matter
get
what
into the
happens.
nuances of it because sometimes I'm like, well, you're the awareness giving him that direction, believing
Mm,
that
that's
he
true
is
too. That's
barking at
true
every
too.
dog. So,
You're right, you're right. It because that's a
yeah.
great is a, like, on the spot lesson that we're getting right now is that, yeah, we think it's them, but it really
Mhm.
is us,
Yeah.
I mean, I tell sometimes my family, we get in the car, my dog starts as soon as the dog gets in the car, I have 2 dogs and 3 dogs, and one of the dogs that get in, he immediately starts to, like, watching, looking, and this is all I think it's imagination because it's assuming, but it's really you assuming, right? It's
Yeah.
really you assuming what because like, this is who they are. So,
Right.
yeah, this is a reality check right there.
We limit their own capacity to be peaceful almost, right?
Yeah.
You're like, "Oh, it's a primitive mind, it's an animal." But how
Mhm.
many animals, just mirror
True.
calmness and I I play a lot. I love bugs and, sometimes people freak out. I don't keep them, but if I'm out, I'm never gonna be scared of a bee biting me, or anything of that sort. But people are very have that conditioning, like, "Oh, it's out there to attack you." But it's like, no, if I come with a bubble of peace,
Mhm.
animals are very receptive of like my own um intentions. I I mean, I grab bees all the time and I put them back outside and all that thing, so I think that's funny, like, to share that with people too, like, nothing can hurt you, not even, like, an animal, even mosquitoes, people talk really have this conversation because again, reality loop, mosquitoes always bite me. But
Yes.
no, but you don't understand. And people say, like, you don't understand. This always happens to me. Okay, but you
Right.
don't understand. This always happens to you because you have the story. Like, change the story.
So
Mosquitoes never
true.
bite me. Like, they're never even around me. I don't even know. Somehow they're out of my vicinity,
Yeah, it's
you
so
know?
true. I like to personally, the way I like my philosophy is a gift of intuition. So whatever belief you have you're going to you're going to be, act, and react in the right place at the right time. You're going to be, act, and react in the right place at the right time based on what assumptions you make, the meaning, the assumption, point of view, what have you. So in the case of even could be like you're saying, Steph, with my dog going in the car, I could say, okay, my dog's great in the car now. The dog's perfect. It's quiet as a mouse. It's amazing. It's again, that's love, right? This is what love does. This is amazing. Makes you feel good. It's fulfilling. That's why we do it, because it's who we are. So what's going to happen moving forward? We like this is like what is reality creation? Like what how does it change? In my personal view, a lot of times I look at it as intuition. So what's going to happen? I may get ideas that will compel that to happen. I may be at the right place at the right time to compel that to happen. I may go outside and there'll be no dogs around. Right place at the right
Right.
time. So
Exactly.
my dog's quiet because I got the idea maybe to put, maybe something around its neck to remind him, not to bark, or I'll just happen to remember more. I happen to get outside at the right place at the right time where there's no dogs around, and then all of a sudden I'm getting a pattern of my dog's quiet now.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this can happen anywhere. You can,
Right, if you wanted it to, because also, like, I think it's important for people to realize that not everything has to be changed, right? Like, if you're just like, "My dog barks,"
Mhm,
it's cute, right? Like, I think dogs are supposed
mhm,
to bark. Let me just have that experience in my
yeah,
human,
mhm,
bubble, so to speak. But if it's something that you wanna experiment with and be like, "Well, let me just change this because I can," right? If it's bothering me, I think for me, like, if I notice something is bothering me, right, I'm like, "Ugh, this is annoying." I'm like, "Oh, that's my key to
mhm,
change
mhm.
it." So, like, the problem is the solution. So, there are no problems,
Mm,
guys. Like,
very
it's
point, good,
it's
good
it's
point.
really fun when you start seeing problems in that way, because you're not seeing them as problems, you're seeing as developing your growth.
Yeah.
Um, and you're developing, being the solution, like, being certain that you have the capacity to intend something new in your life. So then you
Mhm.
start getting excited. You see something you don't like, you're like, "Wait, I can change this," like, who cares? It's fun. It's not that serious.
Yeah, so
And with
true.
anything.
I look at it, I call it, and a great teacher, Joseph Rodriguez, has taught me this, obstacle to opportunity. Beautiful lesson. Obstacle to opportunity. There are no obstacles. There are only opportunities because they're here to compel you.
Yeah.
To have another opportunity. So that's why righteous judgment is the only way. Right consciousness, righteous judgment, giving the meaning you prefer. Because the moment you don't, and you realize you're doing it deliberately, that's going to be a judgment, and then you're going to experience it. Now you created a reality loop. So judgment is the reality loop you don't prefer, and you have your love. So you have it's your choice. If that's what you want, you give that meaning, you get it. Your love has no bounds, so you're deliberate whether you're doing it consciously or unconsciously, your love. So you have the path to experience that
Yeah.
because you're love. So if that you love it, you got it. You love this, you got it. But then you realize what you prefer, and now you change the game. And that's because, that's
Right.
love. So obstacle to opportunity is a large, big lesson to learn
Yeah.
that there is no judgment. Like this is happening, but it means nothing because it's just an opportunity of it could be things unfolding. Like people will think like I see these posts sometimes about people in school and they go to get they do they take a test or whatever. Like oh, I didn't get the test, I didn't get the thing I wanted. Now what am I going to do? It's not over.
Yeah.
It's not over. There's no
Yeah.
judgment there. So
Yeah.
obstacle to
Yeah.
opportunity. It's an opportunity for you to be aware.
Yeah, exactly. It's I think bringing more creativity into our lives. I think a little bit of the mindset that people grow up in, like there's right and wrong, and like this is how it needs to be. But if you don't make a mistake, how are you going to know how you prefer it, right? So I give the example a lot of like, why are you stressing out? It's just hair. Your hair grows back, right? You get a haircut you don't like, your hair's gonna grow back. It's not a big deal. Like, you didn't like it, so then you're gonna do it different next time. It's not a big deal. But unfortunately, there are people that get a bad haircut and their lives, like, they react so negatively to it. Like, my life is over. I hate my hair. Oh my God. And they're so caught up in that, like, anxiety that's unnecessary. You're like, I didn't like it this time. The hair is going to grow back, guys. And that's reality. Reality is like that. It's all around you. Everything's always regenerating, not just your body, right?
Mm.
As your awareness regenerates or redirects, sometimes I see like as a Rubik's cube, like things are gonna start moving around to give you the outcome you are now selecting. And that's not your last outcome. You can choose again. You're
Mm.
like, ah, you know what? I decided on this, but this is not really the job for me. Okay, choose another outcome. And you get to experiment and grow and just rediscover yourself, you know? But
So
I
true.
think I think you need to go,
Yes.
Mitch. I
Yes.
think okay. So we're gonna cut this call. It was so amazing having you. Um, I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you
Love it.
exist, that we met,
Oh, thank you.
that I have somebody to speak
That's
on these
awesome,
topics
awesome,
about.
awesome.
And we will soon hopefully make another video together and then see what
Yes.
develops from there. Maybe, you know, the sky's the limit.
100%. I am overjoyed. I'm in total ecstasy with what's to come, what is, and I am so blessed and thankful to you and all of you and your channel. It's going to be and is an amazing adventure. So,
That's what
yeah,
it is, an adventure.
definitely super super excited for everything.
Thank you, Mitch. I'm so excited. So we'll talk soon. We'll touch bases. Guys, leave us comments. You know, what do you want to hear more about? You know, we thankfully have a lot of experience on, well, enough experience to speak on it and always learning more, right? But you know, just let us know what you want to talk about and we'll we'll accommodate it. Sending everybody so much love. Remember, you're amazing, you're powerful, never forget. Okay. Bye.
Bye.